It's as clear as the water why this port is a favourite for cruise liners. With scenes reminiscent of the Mediterranean, Shetland provides a stunning and unique landscape. Cruising boosts the tourism industry here, but can lead to an overwhelming influx of visitors. For locals living in the port town of Lerwick, the idea of a cruise passenger levy is appealing.
It's good to see the increase in visitors, but at the same time we didn't have the infrastructure in place, so yeah, money would help for that.
It's got to be a balance, but yeah, I think if people want to come, they will pay. Cruise ships aren't cheap anyway, so a small levy's not going to make much difference.
The amount of people, it is a massive...
Yeah, trying to get a coffee or lunch or something.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't stop it happening because they bring a lot to the island.
Despite the issues, Shetlanders don't want to risk losing out on this vital source of income. Ships vary from a few hundred to a few thousand passengers, making it difficult to fully navigate.
This is one of the biggest cruise ships that comes up to Shetland. It's almost 300 metres in length and can carry up to 3,000 passengers. That means arriving into Lerwick's harbour is almost 50% of the town's population.
There are issues for locals, like the bus network becoming overwhelmed on large cruise days, affecting staff getting to work. The hospitality industry is reliant on tourism. Restaurant owners like Ross find the drastic difference in footfall hard to cater for.
I think we calculated out roughly about 150 seats in restaurants or cafes at any one time in Lerwick, and some of the boats can be 3,000 people. So there's a lot of people that sort of leave a wee bit disappointed. And a lot of people don't come into town on cruise boat days. So if you don't have cruise boat passengers eating in the restaurant, then you're absolutely dead.
Others have been able to expand their business because of the demand from cruise ships.
This is one of our vehicles. We have a fleet of approximately 40 now.
A busy summer allows the wheels to keep turning in the winter.
To be able to have the coach fleet that we have, that is very much dependent on cruise work. Other words, you're looking at private hires and perhaps home to school transport. So to be able to have the robustness in your fleet, you need to have work there that can justify the investment in these vehicles. We certainly do not want to kill off our cruise sector. That's going to have a huge effect on all transport operators.
The Scottish Government's idea of a cruise ship levy is still in the consultation period, but there's concern that even the proposal is enough to send ripples of unease through the industry.
I think most ports in Scotland are really quite worried, and the cruise line operators are worried it'll be an additional cost, and we're in a very competitive market, so it could result, we think, at a high risk of reduced calls to the islands due to increased cost, or if a cruise ship is doing a number of ports through Scotland, they may reduce the number of places they go to, which overall for Scotland will be a reduction.
If that levy was passed on to passengers, would visitors be willing to pay the fee?
When I think about paying it for 4 people in a family, then £5 would be too much for me.
I think it's fair. For example, I've been to Spain like a couple of weeks ago and I had to pay tourist tax every day.
I will pay for this because it's good for the city.
No, I agree. No.
An overnight tourist tax is already an option for the island, but the council isn't sure if that or a cruise ship levy is the right answer. They don't want to price people out of visiting.
One of the things that we have really looked at exploring is a point of entry levy. Instead, we think that that might be a better option than a cruise ship levy and a visitor levy, because that might be easier to implement in islands. So I think there's a real need to look at this as a specific island factor and how we can make sure we don't impact us in a way that's negative.
Not everyone is on board with a levy, but the local infrastructure in these communities is feeling the strain under rising tourism levels.
Well, leaving behind me just now is one of the 3 cruises that docked in Lerwick today, and like ports around the UK, cruising numbers have been steadily increasing here in recent years. But this proposal of a levy is only in Scotland, and the British Ports Association told me that's worrying, as their early analysis shows that it could be just a talk of a levy could be stunting growth in Scotland when compared to England. Now, Scottish Government say it's very much still at the fact-finding stage, but across the UK it's a real challenge when it comes to balancing the economic need for tourism whilst protecting local communities.